We have this article over at the Daily Mail. I will turn peril into possibility. Biden will attack Trump with his speech to Congress by saying he inherited a nation in crisis after the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. Wow, I can't believe he would say such strong words about a year of Antifa rioting and $2 billion in damage. You know, just the other day, a week or so ago in Oklahoma City, Black Lives Matter stormed the Capitol building.
Yeah.
So it's good for Joe. Oh, wait. Hold on.
Oh, he wasn't talking about
I'm being
that.
handed a note. He's talking about Trump supporters.
Tim, that's not.
Oh, he's not. Biden's not. Biden's not talking
that
about
stuff
the.
wasn't. Yeah, that stuff was okay.
Oh, that stuff's okay.
Yeah, no, that's part of it.
It
Those are
wasn't
the
as
good
dangerous.
guys, dude. They're the good guys, all dressed in black. Those are the good guys.
Yes.
Really?
With the
Oh, yeah.
You ever
masks
see
and
that? You ever see that bit? I can't remember who the comedians it was by, where they're like dressed as Nazis, and then he like looks down and sees the skull and crossbones, and he goes, "Are we the baddies?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're using a skull and a
Classic.
crossbone.
Okay, so that's the comedy show. The name just escaped me, but those two guys from England, hilarious. History nerds,
Yeah.
totally on point, super
can't
funny,
remember
and they would
either.
recreate these World War II things. And that moment, he looks, he goes, "Are we the baddies?"
He's got because they're wearing the skull and crossbones. Well, so you look at what's going on now with Antifa, smashing and destroying. But what's funny to me is they smash and destroy Starbucks, and then Starbucks is like, "We're glad they did this."
And in fact, thank you for destroying our bathrooms. Anybody who wants to come in and use the bathrooms at any time now, customers, otherwise, doesn't matter. Anybody, you can now use our bathrooms. Have you been in a Starbucks bathroom since I did that?
I mean, no.
It's like a homeless
But you
shelter.
know,
in
you know
there.
what, man?
Yeah.
I'm kind of chilling. Everything is like being lit up around me, and people seem to think that there's potentially going to be a federal takeover of police, but I really don't think so. How many FBI agents are there? There's no way they can handle. Well, there's like 800,000 to 1 million cops around the country. I really don't think the feds can take that over. Maybe they can try, or maybe what's really going to happen is once the police departments go under, then there's no local enforcement. Laws become irrelevant to the average person. And then the country just doesn't exist in a meaningful way anymore.
What's going to happen is the talent level of the police officers is going to degrade so poorly because no one with any other options is going to take that job that the police may be there, but they will be so ineffective and just able to be pushed around. It'll be worthless. So federal policing will become more important.
How though?
How what? What do you mean?
How many are there? So maybe just singling out the FBI is a little short-sighted because there's other agencies, FPS for instance, ICE, CBP. There's not nearly enough federal law enforcement to handle the entire country.
Oh yeah, no.
Red states are like people in rural areas are gonna be like, nah.
Yeah.
So without local law enforcement, federal law is going to be
Wait.
meaningless.
Have there been sounds about a federal police force?
A lot of people have been chatting us saying like if the local cops go, the feds step in.
Or private police hired by the feds.
Oh, well, private police, I don't know about hired by the feds, but private police has been prophesized for a long time, especially Neil Stephenson, Snow Crash, many years ago about ghettoed in the technical sense, like isolated neighborhoods with their own police departments and own security departments, etc. That's definitely coming. Anybody with money is going to be hiring their own security.
So let's talk about the two potentials, right? That's the scary scenario. If they abolish the police and then bring about their cult as the local officers, we are on a track that heads towards a totalitarian cult
Could you imagine
government.
driving through a town and then they stop you and you don't know why they're stopping you or what's going on and they throw you in like a prison never to be heard from again because that's their local. Mm-hmm. And you can only hope the feds come and get you out somehow.
You can't hope the feds are going to do
I
anything.
mean, that's all you have at that
Look at
point.
what Joe Biden is doing.
It depends on
If
who you voted
anything,
for.
you're going to be crossing your fingers that you make your way through a local town.
That's crazy.
Because if you go through a red state, there's going to be a guy who's like, "Excuse me, sir, what are you doing here?" And you're going to be like, "Just passing through," and it'll be like, keep mind to yourself and have a good day. It's the feds who are going to be like, "What's your excuse me, sir, pull over. I couldn't help but notice you're a white man. Can you give me your pronouns for your citation? What's that? You don't. You're under arrest." Then you go to jail. Then you go to prison.
I'm nervous about this because if the local cops do resign, they're the ones that would be first in order to get hired by private companies.
If they're resigning, that's because it should be a statement of position, right? They don't support this crap.
Look, none of that. That is all. I think getting a bit too far away from the big picture here. The big picture is a cop right now can watch their city being burnt to the ground and be like, "I don't care." And then when you literally have cops getting arrested and charged, and then they'll look at you and be like, "Sir, is that a gun? Let me check the Bill of Rights, Second Amendment. Well, we don't need that one. You're under arrest." That's amazing to me. that they would that cops will swear an oath to the Constitution and then look at it and go, oh, whatever, guess not. Meanwhile, they can't arrest the extremists. The charges get dropped. The left uses the fact the charges are being dropped as evidence they're morally right and the state is wrong. And they have $2 billion worth of damage in only a few cities over the past year with all the damage and destruction. Then you're going to get people like Juan Williams on Fox News saying, cities didn't burn down. That's a lie.
Right. People don't believe that happened. Truly. People in Washington, D.C. believe that the boarded up businesses on January 5th were because that the MAGA rioters had come through the city all summer and destroyed everything. They honest to God, truly believe it to the point where I present them with alternative facts, as in I was literally there. I saw with my own eyes, like not hearsay. And they're like, whatever, block me on Facebook. Like they just literally cannot accept the fact that was the case.
You need only, what was it? Who said this? I don't know if it was like a Linsky or Marx or something. You need like 11% of the population to adhere. Maybe it wasn't those guys. Maybe it was a different researcher. You need like 11% of the population to adhere to an ideology to take over the entire country. Because regular people, they will sell their own mothers. Like I genuinely believe the cops who remain in like Minneapolis and these cities are the kind of people that would sell their mom for a quick buck.
I feel the urge myself to criticize some of the law enforcement today, but I also feel the urge to defend some of them. There is something to be said for wanting to try to do your best to make change from the inside. And
you can't make change from the inside when you're under the boot of corrupt politicians.
True, but there are, and I know them personally, there are still good people who are police officers, who are trying to uphold the Constitution, who are trying to do the best, but they're being forced into untenable situation. And it very soon is going to come a point at which they have to decide whether or not they're going to make a statement by resigning, or
it's already happening,
or maybe they have to go undercover in a sense and like subvert their own views outwardly in order to be in a position to make change at some point in time. A sleeper cell, if you will.
Throughout the country, we are seeing the good cops saying, no, I won't do this.
Yeah.
And in many cities, many major Democrat urban metros, they're saying, you give me a stick, I'll beat my own mom with it. I don't care. Just give me a paycheck. I'll do whatever you say for money. That's what they're doing. You get that guy on CNN, the DC Capitol cop, and doing that interview. These are look, corrupt people exist. There's a lot of them. The good cops, in my opinion, have said no and are refusing to abide by this insanity. And then you have, I guess, the banality of evil in those who are like, if we just get through the storm, it'll be okay. So I'll do what they tell me for now, but maybe things will get better. Meanwhile, the politicians are getting worse. The cases keep happening. The system is being destroyed. There's no justice. Why is the system being propped up? At this point, I'm just like, we need personal responsibility back. We need, the sooner we have personal responsibility, the sooner communities know that they're responsible for themselves, the better. But it's not going to happen so long as you have people who want a paycheck who aren't going to back down.
It's like
well, that's never going to change. So what are we going to do? You can always pay people. I mean, hell, we
right? That's
our
the
revolution was like fought in part by hired guns.
The Hessians.
Yeah.
Bringing some German hired guns to help us out. So the issue, the bigger picture issue right now is no community in this country, no willingness to stand up for your ideals, your principles, and your fellow countrymen.
Well, there are a number of counties, let's say in a local state here nearby, Virginia, for example, who decided to stand up to their own governor and their own legislature when they were trying to pass laws that would infringe on the Second Amendment. They put out statements. They said, we will not honor these laws. We will not respect these laws. West Virginia even passed a resolution saying these counties in Virginia that maybe you want to secede from your blue psychopath blackface aborting baby killing Effer Northam in Virginia. Maybe you want to secede from that state. You can join us in West Virginia. I think there are still jurisdictions where you can find the kind of people that are going to uphold the Constitution and do what we think is the right thing to do.
Right. I'm talking about the major urban metros.
Yeah, well, they're toast.
Right. So I'm not talking about cops in West. I'm not talking about sheriff's departments or cops in West Virginia.
It's a useful distinction.
Right. I'm talking about in Minneapolis where like they're sitting there in a burning building going, "This is fine." I'm like, dude,
it's the beam.
Get out! Stop letting them do these things. And so the other big issue is, especially with the federal government, with what we saw with Giuliani, Look what the FBI is doing to these people, some of these bumbling dotards who like walked through a door confused and bewildered at the Capitol. Some people, a large portion, did storm their way in and were fighting cops. There's a video I watched from the FBI where like a guy grabs a cop's mask and is shaking his head violently. And I'm like, that's messed up. Or that guy should get arrested. Don't do that. But there are some people who are bewildered, befuddled, and just like walked through an open door waving a little American flag while the cops waved to them and guided them in the building. And the FBI is like, tell us who these people are. We're going to arrest all of them. You ain't seen nothing yet. And then Antifa shows up and burns down a bunch of buildings. And they're like, nah, it's all right. It's all right. So it's not all right. It's not all right. The system is completely broken. The cult is taking over. And and with Biden in power as president, going after Giuliani, there it is. So people like to say, I wonder if the reason why many of these lefties are like, Tim talks about civil war is because they don't want people to realize we're in one. We are in a cold civil war. That cold doesn't mean it's not happening. Cold means it's not being fought with live ammunition. When the government steps up and starts arresting or seizing the cell phone of the former president's lawyer, like, okay, dude, this is.
It was the Patriot Act.
But it is being fought with live ammunition because when we write the
ammunition,
cop chopping aluminum ammunitions.
Yes,
but continue, please.
When history is written about this, they're going to include Ruby Ridge and Waco, Texas, in the chronology of this experience, right? Yeah. That is a hot conflict, right?
Well, you've also got Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and Proud Boys, and right-wing groups, and the clashes. And
totally.
Dude taking two to the chest. And
so as you've talked about, I've talked about plenty. It's definitely fourth or fifth generation warfare. This is exactly what's happening, where you've got disparate, decentralized groups acting in accordance or sort of in coherence, trying to achieve a plausible promise that can be achieved. They come together, they work towards that promise. It works or it doesn't, then they dissipate and they come back together again. We saw the network alliance this last summer between the corporations, the radical left, the BLM, and Antifa. We see a little bit of that splintering after the election, with Antifa still being like, F Biden, we want anarchy, all this stuff, but nobody's really paying too much attention to that part. So the Civil War is on, man. It's on.
Dude, the Patriot Act basically set the stage. I remember when that got signed and thinking, like, this is so ridiculous. Like, I didn't laugh, but I was like, this is so insane that now the government has the right to just, like, bust in my door and throw me in Guantanamo Bay.
They don't, but like I said, there are people who are going to be like, there's going to be some, federal agent looking at this going, man, this is crazy. Do you see the thing they just signed? And then the door opens up. Hey, Johnson, go beat the crap out of that guy and throw him in prison. You got it, boss.
Yeah, but it took 18 years. Like, it wasn't acted on for the first decade or two. Obama was like...
What I'm saying is they don't need it. They could go right now to the average cop and be like, brutally beat that person. And they'll say, okay. They'll just do it.
It really concerns me that they legalized that kind of thing, and then they waited like 15 years, and now they're starting to do these like
Ian
going after.
I gotta stop.
Giuliani.
Let me stop you again. That's irrelevant.
Well,
they going after Giuliani is with or without the Patriot Act.
Right.
The point is
the political
our culture
targets.
The community in this country, the culture in this country has been shattered a long time ago, and now you've got people saying, "I don't care. I will enforce whatever you say." It's just easier that way. People wonder why, just following orders in World War II Germany. Why would they do it? Because, man, people don't care. They literally don't care. There's no principle behind many of these people. Now, hold on. A lot of these cops, they quit. A lot of them say, I don't want to do this. But many of them who remain don't care. And I know there's a lot of them probably conflicted, but it's not just about the police. It's about federal law enforcement. It's about people in the military who would show up and follow whatever order because, well, I don't know. I don't have the information. I've lived on a few different military bases, just off of Eustis. And I briefly was crashing in Fort Carson because I have family who was there. And I asked some of the lower, enlisted guys and men and women, if you were given the order to shoot somebody, would you do it? And they were like, well, yeah, like, you don't have all the information. They don't give you a pamphlet like identifying the individual and what's going on. They say, stop that person now. You do. So it's not an issue. It's the banality of evil. It is not that individuals are like, I'm going to be evil today. It's their boss comes in and says, go arrest Ian. They go, you got it, boss.
Well, they're like, hold on, sir. Is this in triplicate? Okay, it's in triplicate. All right, I got it. I'll
That's
do it
like
then.
the ape. We're like ancestors of apes. We're just these like we're really barely out of.
Would
like,
you say
the wild
saltwater
animal.
monkey bodies?
Yeah, basically the animal kingdom, man. We're in it. We are animal. Whether we want to think of ourselves as like this evolved thinking machine that isn't an animal anymore.
Who thinks
we're
of themselves
animals.
as that, dude? I
And-
think of myself as top of the food
Yeah,
chain.
and
That's
we're-
what I think.
We're communal animals, and so we tend to follow the herd and the pack, and we go where their food is going to be. And so when they threaten to take away the money or the food, I mean that's scary.
Well, not only that, but you touched on the real issue. Social exile, social shame, fear of being excluded, fear of becoming the worst thing possible, a member of the out group.
Because you will die alone in the woods.
That's right.
Don't want to be the out group. Doesn't even matter what the out group is. You don't want to be it, bro.
And so as long as the cult has corporate press, no matter how much they lie, people are desperate to follow the narrative of the dude playing the Pied Piper.
Bro, you got to give it to him, man. They won. They won. All the media, all the institutions, all the narrative.
Big tech.
Big tech, corporations, the government, the narratives, your thought processes, your value system, everything. They won. They totally won. It will now take people willing to be part of the out group in order to fight back against this. And that willingness to be part of the out group involves being financially in the out group, economically in the out group, politically in the out group, socially in the out group. You have to be willing to be a pariah and an independent operator in order to withstand what's happening and just to survive and maintain your sense of self and your sense of identity. But to fight back, holy crap, you need to be able to amass resources. You need to be able to amass teammates in a way that's still outside of the system. You're not going to go down to your local college and like round up a bunch of guys that are going to see things the way we do.
And most people are going to duck and say, I hope the fire passes overhead. And then within a few weeks, there's a burnt crisp
Could you imagine
corpse.
they're like, you're no longer allowed to have a bank, but you need to pay property taxes on your house. Can't pay? Don't have money?
They're
We're gonna
doing
take your
that
house.
already.
Yeah, then they seize property. So
Yep.
you try and be outside the system, but the system's still going to come for you unless you're on some distant planet, which isn't feasible at this stage of humanity.
Unless people start speaking up, refusing to participate in a game in which they know their opponents are cheating, but instead they're like, I don't know, I'm good for now. I'll just shut up and just take what I can get.
You're right. Speaking up is key, but also building like the founding fathers. We kind of talked about this before the show. They spent 2 decades writing it out, like creating.
It was like a century.
like organizing a database and a plan. So in addition to speaking up, to have the basic, the technology.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.